We all love the dire wolves, and we want to see them in Season 8. We'll get what we want, but it's going to be bittersweet because they're probably all going to die fighting. Their race is going to go extinct, just like the children of the forest. And if you don't believe me, I'm sorry, but Leaf foreshadowed this in the books. Quote, "The dire wolves will outlast us all, but their time will come as well. In the world that men have made, there is no room for them or us." It's sad. And another type of wolf is almost extinct too, the Starks. Jon Snow might die fighting the Night King, Sansa might become a Lannister, and Bran may not be able to have children. Can Arya even have children? So how's Stark's near an end? This has happened before, the story of Bael the Bard. If that story's true, then the Stark line lives on through a wildling and a Stark girl. The thing is, the Winterfell Chronicles don't include this song or this story, possibly because the humiliation that this story brings to House Stark. They don't want the world to know that the Starks all descend from a wildling and a Stark girl. The Starks descend from a bastard, who I think might be the Night King. But the point is, the Starks seem to have covered up that story, maybe because they didn't want the world to remember the past. North remembers? My ass. Well, the Stark line's near an end, and once again, it may live on through the blood of a girl, Arya Stark. But this time, I don't think they're going to cover up the story. They're going to let it be known loud and clear exactly what happened so that people remember war comes at a cost. How might they do this? By changing the Stark sigil, and we've gotten a clue all the way back in Book 1. I'll explain that clue, but real quick, thank you to my good friend Eric C. and Sean Gordon for becoming channel members, and my boy William Rice, what's up William, and Sonia Noyes for helping in the campaign to save a child's life. Thanks guys, for real. Alright, so the Stark line's near an end, but it may survive through the blood of a Stark girl, Arya Stark, the she-wolf, just like the Bael the Bard story. Typically, girls take on the male's surname, but of course, Gendry doesn't have a surname, because Robert didn't recognize him as a royal bastard. If Robert had recognized Gendry, Gendry would probably be called Gendry Waters, which is pretty cool if you think about it, because ice and fire make water, or maybe it makes gas or air. And that's exactly what we're talking about here. Stark heirs, the Stark line carrying on. Gendry will probably take on the Stark name, and Arya and him will hopefully keep the Stark line alive by falling in love and making some wolf pups someday. Now check this out. In Arya Stark's very first chapter, Jon Snow points out that Prince Joffrey's arms included both the crowned stag of the royal house Baratheon and the Lion of Lannister, Rawr, their mother's sigil. Jon thinks this is kind of messed up, but Arya protested like, "Hey, the woman's important too!" Exclamation point. I'm with you, Arya. So then Jon tells Arya, "Perhaps you should do the same thing, little sister." And Arya laughs about how her own sigil would be a wolf with a fish in its mouth, since she's a Stark or a wolf and a Tully or a trout. This clearly foreshadows all the intimate nights when Ned does his best Podrick Payne to Lady Cat. A wolf, Ned, with a fish in his mouth, Lady Cat. I'm kidding. This foreshadows Lady Stoneheart in the books. Arya was warged into Nymeria, a wolf, and she dragged Lady Catelyn's dead body to shore, a wolf with a fish in its mouth. That may be it. Maybe that's why George R. R. Martin gave us this little scene with Arya and Jon in Book 1. But there's a chance that it's going to pay off a second time. We all know that the direwolf's mother was killed by a stag, and this foreshadowed King Robert and Ned dying soon after, the stag and the direwolf going down. But we also know from Leaf that the direwolves are all going to die, because there's no room for them in the world that men have built. So I could see Arya paying homage to the near death of her house, and more importantly, paying homage to the extinction of the direwolves by changing her sigil to the last mother direwolf. Instead of a wolf with a fish in its mouth, a direwolf being speared by the antlers of a stag, reminding the world forever that war comes at a cost.